Cassie said he would get physical. The one male guy who did things for Diddy and Cassie said he witnessed him get physical. Don. So again, we talked about how the domestic charges aren't, what he's being, what he's on trial for. But boy, it's stacking up. And I feel that the jury is going to take that into consideration.
The first Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in.
Day the courtroom buzzes with anticipation. Reporters, spectators, and Diddy's family fill the gallery, their whispers creating a low hum. At the defense table, Sean, Diddy, Combs, 55, sits composed in a tailored suit, his face a mask of stoic resolve. His attorney, Anna Estevao, shuffles papers beside him. Across the room, the prosecution team, led by Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey, prepares for the day's proceedings. Judge Arun Subramanian presides, his expression stern yet impartial. The air is thick with tension. It's the fifth day of the high-profile trial, and the prosecution's star witness, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, has just concluded her emotional, 4-day testimony. The jury, a mix of attentive and weary faces, awaits the next witness. The trial of Sean Diddy Combs has gripped the nation. Charges of sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution paint a dark portrait of a music mogul once celebrated as a cultural icon. The first week has been a whirlwind of revelations, with Cassie Ventura's testimony laying bare a world of alleged abuse and coercion. But today, the courtroom braces for something unexpected, a moment that could shift the tide. Courtroom, witness stand. Moments later, Dawn Richard, 42, a former member of Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money, takes the stand. Her demeanor is resolute, her eyes scanning the room before settling on Diddy. The prosecutor, a sharp woman in her 40s, approaches. Ms. Richard, can you describe an incident you witnessed in 2009 at Mr. Combs' Los Angeles mansion? Dawn Richard, nervously, but firm, I was in the studio, recording. Sean came downstairs, screaming, belligerent, asking where his phone was. Then he attacked Cassie. He hit her in the head, kicked her, beat her to the ground. I saw it happen right in front of me. Gasps ripple through the courtroom. Diddy shifts uncomfortably, his jaw tightening. His attorney scribbles notes furiously. Stay calm, we'll handle this in cross.
Trying to listen. I mean, there's a lot of this stuff that I've heard and seen already. I'm really trying to connect the dots here and think like, damn, what if Prince was what if he caught wind of some, I'll just say allegedly, stuff that Diddy might have been doing that seems to be, like, I ain't talking about consensual things, I'm talking about illegal things or whatever. But I'm just like, would Diddy be that dumb to not think that Prince, this celebrity, has cameras in his house as well? So I'm just trying to think, because if Prince has cameras and he's recording stuff, to get some dirt on Diddy, I don't know. I feel like Diddy, with all his cameras that he allegedly had, or no, they actually found cameras.
That I don't know, right? What I know is that he was really health conscious. He was a vegan. He didn't abuse alcohol. I didn't know of him abusing drugs. He worked out, so, that also really concerned me, because it made me think that, wow, so you mean you do all these things to take care of yourself and you die so...
Dawn Richard's testimony corroborates Cassie's harrowing account of abuse. But the prosecution has another card to play, one that no one, not even Diddy, sees coming. Later, the prosecutor signals to an aide, who wheels in a small audio setup. Murmurs grow louder as the jury leans forward, curious. Your Honor, the prosecution wishes to introduce Exhibit 47, an audio recording submitted as evidence. We believe it provides critical context to the defendant's behavior and relationships. Judge Subramanian. Counsel, what is the nature of this recording, and how is it relevant? It's a previously unreleased recording from the late artist Prince, obtained through a confidential source. It contains statements regarding Mr. Combs' conduct, recorded shortly before Prince's passing in 2016. It directly relates to the pattern of control and coercion alleged in this case. Objection, Your Honor. This is hearsay, and its authenticity is unverified. The prosecution is attempting to sensationalize this trial with unproven claims. Your Honor, the recording was authenticated by forensic audio experts and corroborated by a witness familiar with Prince's interactions with Mr. Combs. It is admissible under the residual exception to hearsay, as it bears substantial guarantees of trustworthiness. I'll allow it, but I'll instruct the jury to consider its weight carefully. Proceed, Counselor. The courtroom falls silent. Diddy's eyes narrow, his composure faltering for the first time. His mother, Janice Combs, seated in the front row, grips her purse tightly. The mention of Prince, a legend whose integrity was unquestioned, sends a shiver through the room. Posts on X have speculated about this recording for days, with users claiming Prince was ready to expose Diddy. Could this be the bombshell they've been waiting for? Audio playback. The aid presses play.
Became such a big deal back then is ever since my third album, I wasn't really taking large advances from the recording companies. I was recording the albums myself in my own studio. So the way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. And I did all the work. I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me. That said, the companies felt otherwise. And they would always hold this contract up and say, well, you signed it. And I say, well, I understand that. It's not like I want to leave. I just want to, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair. Of course, they wouldn't change, because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist. And that's kind of the situation we're in right today. They're not going to exist much longer. But it's not like we're against them or anything like that. The idea is that we find better ways of working with one another. It shouldn't be a situation where they own the album or the work. We're talking about intellectual copyright. If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they...
Cassie Ventura on the witness stand for a fourth day in the federal criminal trial against hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The defense continuing cross-examination this morning, confronting her with dozens of her own messages, many explicit, hoping to convince the jury she was an eager sexual partner who matched Combs' desires. I'm always ready to freak off, one message said.
She was into the freak-offs herself and was like a willing participant and was into all the freaky stuff, and essentially that was the crux of what they were trying to do yesterday.
And do you think they proved that or not?
I mean, there's texts like that from 2009, I'm always ready to freak off. There was some other texts where she was referencing like hitting him up about the FOs, is what they were referring to him. To me, like, yes, this doesn't look good, but at the same time, I think the timeline is crucial here. And these are texts from 2009, man. That was when they were first getting in the relationship. She was young. Obviously, they were in the honeymoon stage, and she was stoked to like, oh my God, I'm with Diddy. I'm living this lavish lifestyle. Of course, she's going to be saying things that she knows will curry favor with him to keep it going.
A hauntingly familiar voice fills the room. Prince, his tone measured but heavy with conviction. Prince VO, recording. I've seen things, man. People think it's all glitz and glamour, but there's a darkness in this industry. I was at a party in LA a few years back, Diddy's place. What I saw, it wasn't right. He had this girl, young, talented, under his thumb. Controlling her every move, like she was property. I tried to talk to her, but his people shut it down. I'm done staying silent. Someone's gotta speak the truth. The recording cuts off abruptly. The courtroom erupts in murmurs. Diddy slams his fist on the table, his face contorted with rage. That's a lie. He's twisting it. I never. Order. Mr. Combs, control yourself, or you'll be removed from this courtroom. Sean, stop. You're making it worse. Diddy breathes heavily, his eyes darting to the jury. Several jurors exchange glances, clearly shaken by his outburst.
The other things that the Diddy's team tried to do was show how they had breaks, and she like was with Michael B. Jordan and was with Kid Cudi for a minute. But during that time period, she was still having freak-offs with Diddy, and I think that was them trying to show, like, this wasn't a controlling thing. Here she was, like, hooking up with other people. She just was into the freak-offs.
I kind of buy that, to be honest.
So...
like, she's out of the freak-off scene. She is when she's with Kid Cudi or allegedly with Michael B. Jordan. She's kind of out of the freak off if she wants to be. So why do you keep going back? Yeah. I know it's kind of like a mental, she still loves Diddy. Diddy was jealous about her.
Oh, yeah, because that was another thing that the prosecutors were trying to do, is show that, that they had a very jealous relationship. She would get jealous when he's with Kid Cudi. Also, like, Kim Porter, Cassie would be jealous of Kim Porter.
Right.
Trying to show that, like, Cassie, you were in love with this guy. That's why you were jealous.
Right.
So, like, this was a real relationship.
It was just interesting to see Chris Brown.
I mean, he's always coming up somewhere, dude.
He is.
Chris Brown.
All right. Final story of the week. Justin Bieber is not a victim of Diddy. So this was one of those, rumors or whatever that was flying around in the months leading up to the trial. And to be honest, there was quite a few rumors flying around. Was there minors involved? Says if no other celebrity was part of Freak-Offs, why are they in hiding? Are they in hiding though?
I don't think they're in hiding. I just think other celebrities didn't want to insert themselves. No one wants to be tied to Diddy one way or the other.
Even if you're at a white party, just having a lot of fun, one of Diddy's white parties, you don't want to be linked in any way.
No, and that's why, all those people, there's a few people I think that have come forward and been like, I didn't see any of this freak-off stuff.
Diddy's loss of control is a rare crack in his carefully curated image. The jury sees it, the reporters see it, and the world beyond these walls will soon know. But what does Prince's recording mean? Was it a deliberate attempt to expose Diddy, or a fleeting moment of frustration from a man known for his enigmatic nature? Cross-examination. The prosecutor steps back, satisfied. Anna Estevao rises for the defense, her expression steely. Ms. Richard, you claim you saw Mr. Combs assault Ms. Ventura in 2009. Yet you continued working with him until 2011. Why didn't you report this incident? I was young, scared. Sean had power over my career, my future. I saw what happened to people who crossed him. I wasn't ready to risk everything. So, you stayed silent for years, only coming forward now, when you have a new album to promote.
They have their notebooks in their hand. They're coming in, they're very alert, and I think this is one of those testimonies where you have no choice but to pay attention and almost be flabbergasted, obviously, at some of what you're hearing, because it's not only just insight into somebody's sex life, but the details are disturbing at times, especially during that prosecution testimony when we saw some of the alleged abuse, or we saw pictures of her after a beating of some kind, according to her. But the jurors are definitely paying attention. I don't see anyone that's not keeping their focus on Cassie Ventura, and also I noticed them taking notes a lot of times.
And the children, as they were exiting court yesterday, 2 of the girls were seen crying. How emotional have they been in court?
Again, I cannot imagine if that was my father or somebody close to me up there and having to hear details of their sex life. Those are young women. They lost their mother, one of them, the twins. So no one can probably quite understand what it is that they're going through, but I think that's something that you think about on both sides, to look at Alex Fine, which is Cassie Ventura's husband, and think about him having to listen to all that's being said about the type of woman that Cassie Ventura was versus the person that's expecting, their 3rd child together now. So whether it's Combs's family or Ventura's family that's there to support her, her brother and her husband, Alex Fine, I think it's difficult on both sides. Seen him taking notes from the beginning. I see him put his glasses on. He gets very close to the screen when they're reading some of those text messages. So he's paying attention.
Now, Ventura confirmed that she and Combs had conversations about a swingers lifestyle, but at the freak-offs, they were very different.
Yeah, so she talked about this idea where I guess Combs wanted her to watch him have sex with another woman. She said that happened 2 or 3 times, but that he mentioned it frequently.
Kim Porter came up today in testimony. What was the significance there?
The defense said early on that this case would be about infidelity, love, and jealousy. And this is where they brought that up today when they brought up Kim Porter's name. The defense asked Cassie Ventura, are you jealous, or were you jealous of Kim Porter? And Ventura sort of contemplated, but did get to this moment where she said, knowing that Combs spent holidays with his family, which meant with Porter, did bother her. And she admitted that. They also pointed out that there was testimony where she talked about being insanely jealous overall as a girlfriend. So, yeah.
We're hearing the judge wants Cassie off the stand tomorrow. Will the prosecution and defense get equal time?
Yeah, as long as there aren't any additional motions, I think that is the goal, to have her off the stand by tomorrow.
Why do you think that? What's the reasoning behind wanting her off the stand tomorrow?
In the very beginning, Rachel, they told us that she would likely be on that stand 2 to 3 days. So here we.
Convenient, isn't it? Prosecutor. Objection. Argumentative. Sustained. Move on, counselor. The defense's strategy is clear. Discredit the witnesses, cast doubt on their motives. But Don Richards' testimony, coupled with Prince's haunting words, paints a damning picture. The prosecution isn't done yet. Later the prosecution calls Special Agent Yassine Binda, a Homeland Security officer who investigated Diddy's hotel room upon his arrest. He stands tall, his voice steady. Agent Binda, what did you find in Mr. Combs' hotel room on the night of his arrest? Agent Binda, we recovered $9,000 in cash, illegal drugs, including what appeared to be ecstasy, baby oil, lubricant, and a device described as for mood lighting. The items were consistent with the allegations of orchestrated sexual activities. The courtroom stirs again. Diddy's sons, seated in the gallery, shift uncomfortably. Janice Combs covers her face with her hands. The evidence mounts, each piece a brushstroke in a portrait of control, manipulation, and excess. But it's Prince's voice that lingers, an echo from beyond the grave, challenging Diddy's legacy. Recess. The judge calls a recess. Reporters rush out to file their stories, while spectators whisper about Diddy's outburst. Outside, a crowd of Diddy supporters clashes with protesters, their chants barely audible through the courthouse walls. They're making me out to be a monster. That recording, Prince didn't know the whole story. We'll counter it, we'll call our own witnesses, show the jury the real you. Stay strong, Sean. Diddy's defense team faces an uphill battle. The recording, though controversial, has shifted the narrative. Social media is ablaze with speculation, with ex-users like at EvangelinaLand and at XLR8_Justice claiming Prince's words validate the victims' stories. But is it enough to sway the jury? After recess, the prosecution calls its next witness, a music industry insider who claims to have worked with both Prince and Diddy. The insider, a middle-aged man with a nervous demeanor, takes the stand. Can you confirm the context of Prince's recording? Music industry insider. I was with Prince in 2016, a few months before he passed. He was upset about what he'd seen at Diddy's parties. He said he felt guilty for not doing more to help that girl, Cassie, I assume. He recorded that message as part of a larger project, something about exposing the industry's underbelly. He never got to finish it. Objection. Speculation. The witness is assuming the identity of the person in the recording, Judge Subramanian. Overruled. The witness is testifying to his personal knowledge. Continue. Music industry insider. Prince was meticulous. He didn't make accusations lightly. He told me he saw Diddy controlling everything, her clothes, her music, her life. It stuck with him. Diddy's face reddens, but he remains silent, heeding his attorney's earlier warning. The insider's testimony ties Prince's words to Cassie's allegations, creating a narrative of systemic control. But the defense isn't ready to concede. Defense strategy Anna Estevao cross-examines the insider, her tone sharp. You claim Prince was disturbed by Mr. Combs' behavior, yet he never went public with these allegations, correct? He was planning to, but he passed away. So, we have no way of knowing his full intentions. And you stand to gain attention from this testimony, don't you? A chance to boost your own profile. This isn't about me, it's about what I saw, what Prince saw. It's about the truth. The jury watches closely, some taking notes. Diddy's expression softens slightly, as if sensing a small victory. The defense chips away, but the damage is done. Prince's voice, combined with Cassie's and Don's testimonies, creates a powerful narrative. The prosecution's case is building, but the trial is far from over. Closing moments as the day ends, Judge Subramanian addresses the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard significant testimony today. I remind you to consider only the evidence presented and to avoid external influences. We'll reconvene Monday at 9 a.m. The jury files out. Diddy stands, his shoulders slumped, as his family gathers around him. Cassie, now in the gallery with her husband Alex Fine, wipes a tear from her eye. The first week of the trial has set the stage for a battle of narratives. Prince's recording, whether authentic or not, has ignited a firestorm. Diddy's outburst may haunt him, a moment of weakness in a trial where perception is everything. As the world watches, one question remains: will the truth prevail, or will it be drowned out by the spectacle?